Mexico City. Hola, ¿cómo estás? Newport Beach. Hello, welcome, good to see you. Tell me where you're watching from. And now here we are also, I'm looking to the other camera now, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. Tell me where you're watching from. Let me open up the comments, maybe a banner. Here we go, and I'll open up the comments. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Wow. I love New Zealand, by the way. I used to travel to Auckland. I dated somebody who lived down there. It was beautiful. Hi, New York. How are you doing? Today's subject are the different kinds of friendships we have in our life and the unconscious contract that we put on our friendships. Hello, Rancho Cucamonga. Good to see you. Let me know where you're watching from if you're catching it here on the other social media. It says, can't post comments from some destinations. Hi, Logan. How are you? Good to see you. So I do want to talk a little bit. Hi, Marilyn. Nice to see you, Marilyn. My daughter now moved to DC, so she's a neighbor of yours. Will you take care of her if she needs you? I did enjoy New Zealand. I loved it. It reminded me a lot of Canada, the people, the Kiwis, very much so. Hi, Sydney. Welcome. Good to see you. You're over on YouTube, I think. Nice to see you. Sydney, where do you watch from again? I always forget. Sydney always asks the best questions. Okay, New Zealand, you got to go. Got it. All right, here's what I want to say about friendships. So have you ever heard people say, you know what, they should do that. If they're a friend, friends should do that, shouldn't they? Well, the truth is you have an idea and a set of expectations in your head about what a friend is and what a friend should do. But the truth is there are so many different kinds of friendships, right? So the one friend that's in the background here who's too shy to be on camera is one of my very cherished historical friends. We met in the, what grade? Seventh grade. And we've been friends for, 2 years now, 40 some years. And when we get back together, it's like our brains remember who we were because every friendship we have enlivens a piece of our personality. And so we might have historical friends. We might have what I call stage of life friends, the friends that maybe you started your career in New York and ran with a bunch of friends, fun single people, or your college friends back from college, they're stage of life friends, or your mommy friends from all the baby groups when your kids were little, right? Those, you cross paths at a certain stage and you share something in common. You'll always remember them, but you don't have to be in touch all the time. Then you might have just your current shared interest friends, the people you go to yoga with, the people you go to gardening club with, whatever. And it's only a small percentage of friends that I would call intimate friends. Now, I'm pretty lucky because I have a historical friend who's both a historical friend and an intimate friend. So it's somebody I can share my deepest feelings with and I won't be laughed at. And the same for her, I hope. And as a result, most of us, though, if we go through the lifespan and have like 3 intimate friends, we're doing pretty well. But we need all of the support. So how much should you invest in friends without giving up and being disappointed? I think I saw. Hi, Brian. It's hot in Virginia too? Wow. Hi, Margaret from Tennessee. Oh, Sydney's in Maryland too. You're going to take care of my daughter, Carrington, I hope. The answer is every relationship we have, whether it's a platonic friendship, a roommate situation, a romantic information, they're all an exchange of care, right? And so you have to decide if the exchange feels fair. Now, the exchange can take so many different forms. It can be financial care. It can be emotional support care. It can be domestic responsibility care if it's a romantic relationship. It can be child care. It can be instrumental support if you're sick and someone comes to the hospital and brings you food and cares for you if you have COVID, right? And so only you can decide if it feels fair. You know, today, I don't know if you saw the TikTok video that I posted today, or maybe it was last night, I'm trying to remember. Somebody wrote and asked me, is it okay to do wifey things for a boyfriend, like cleaning and cooking? And I said, well, it depends. It depends if you enjoy doing those things. It depends if you feel that it's fair. Maybe he's giving back to you in other ways, right? So, and who said they have a Marine buddy? Oh, so Marine buddies, more than 3, yeah, because they're forced intimacy, like it's life and death. You got each other's back, really important. Yes, I'm back, Dark Berry Juice. You know what happened last week? I looked at my watch And it was 5 o'clock last Wednesday, an hour before my live stream. And I was having a little mental health break. Hi, Atuza from Vancouver. Good to see you. I literally, like, I called my boyfriend and I'm like, there's something wrong with my head. I feel fuzzy in my head. I can't keep my thoughts straight. Something's weird. He came over. He thought I was having I thought I was having a stroke. He's like, you're not having a stroke. Let's go have dinner. You're fine. But you know, every once in a while, you just have this weird feeling. My head wasn't right. I'm like, I can't get on a live stream right now. I got to figure out. So this is not scientific. Just so you can know that I'm a human being too. The next day I learned that it had been a full moon. I know the research blasts this theory, but I believe my personal human, not scientist in me believes that the magnetic pull of a full moon brings water to the top of your head. It's water on the brain, kind of like PMS. Thank you for saying the nice things that you're saying. That's very kind of you. What did you see, Atuza? You said, yeah, we saw. What did you see? I don't know what you're referring to. Sydney, where are your questions? You always have the best questions. Okay, I'm going to open up to questions. It can be about relationships. It can be about friendships. It can be about anything. See, you believe in the full moon as well. It's a thing, I swear. What does it mean if someone doesn't have intimate friends? So we know that we're not all wired the same. And there are a group of people who literally have a social disability, right? They lie on the autism spectrum somehow. And it's very difficult for them to have emotional intimacy. Often they're not even aware and having insight about their own feelings. But that doesn't mean they don't need social support. They may be complete introverts and prefer being alone and isolated, but we all need some kinds of people around. Oh, Atuza, the last video on TikTok, that's what you were talking about, right? Did you know I got shadow banned on TikTok again today? You know, here's the problem. I talk in scientific, anatomically correct. Oh, let me read this before it moves away. Just moved to a new place. My friend don't want to overwhelming neighbors and coworkers. What's the best way to approach new friendships? Okay, so here's the answer. You're going to find the most compassionate, connected people when you volunteer for something, anything. I don't care what it is, but join some kind of charity or, you know, I was going to say beach cleanup. You're in Maryland or DC. I don't know if you do beach cleanups there like we do in California. But I would find a charity and find those people. Also, whatever your interest is, join a club. So if you're into classic cars, join a motoring club. If you're into gardening, join a gardening club. If you're into wine tasting, join a wine club, right? Figure out who you are and what you like, and you will meet common interest friends. And then some of those common interest friends can develop into real life friends. No, I cannot marry you. I have a boyfriend. Sorry, but thank you for the proposal. That's very nice. Okay, so Sarah's asking, it's a general question, Sarah, but let me put it up on screen. How can you attract new friendships and my life partner? So the first thing is what I just said. Find common interest friends first and see where they move toward. You want to look for reciprocity, whether it's dating or whether it's a friendship. You do a little thing and then you see if they do a little thing back, whatever it may be. What's an example? So you go to a charity and maybe it's a food fair that you're organizing, making money to help raise money to help people who are experiencing homelessness. And you meet somebody there and you find out they live near you. And you say, oh, well, when we have the meeting next Tuesday, if you need a ride, I got a car. And they go, no, I don't need a ride. Cool. Then you wait. And you see if they do some nice thing to you because you've extended that nice thing to them, right? Meetup groups is another great example, SV Verde, great example. And then I want to say about attracting a new partner in your life, Sarah, if you're afraid of dating apps, you shouldn't be alive in 2021. Honestly, like I'm telling you, it's so normalized. Everybody's on the apps. You got to figure it out. Let's see. I know my boyfriend's watching. My boyfriend just wrote, when somebody said, will you marry me? And I said, no, I have a boyfriend. And then he wrote, and he's watching. he is watching. He's there. He's on the East Coast right now. I didn't know if he wanted to be identified, so that's why I didn't. So now if you look through the comments, you're going to see somebody going, and he's watching. And now you know that's my boyfriend. So this person says, and I know, Akshay, that it's got to be you because the initials are the same. So how's Ottawa, Akshay? Your girlfriend of 3 months is asking about your, let me put this up. Your finances. Is that a red flag? No, 3 months into it, you want to figure out what you're getting into. And people hide like $200,000 in student debt or big credit card bills. You can tell a lot about people's psychology based on their psychology of money. Hello, Nicole from SoCal. Anyway, so I would say, no, it's not too early at 3 months to ask some tender questions about, do you have a lot of debt I'm going to inherit? Or what is your, ask questions about how people spend or how they save. This is, I mean, we're talking about potentially joining two lives, and it's a very practical thing to care about, you know, the money as well. Less questions over here on my other social. What do we got up here on Instagram? Anything else? Sydney says, how do you start small talk and keep the conversation engaging? So the general rules of small talk have to do with things that are not personal, but looking for commonality. So that's why people talk about the weather. They're not supposed to talk about sex and politics when it's small talk, because might not have anything in common there. But you're going to try to look for something in common. I mean, if gentlemen, if there's a girl in line in Starbucks who you think is cute and she's just staring at her phone, then your job is to look over her shoulder and go, hey, cool, you do Candy Crush too? Find something in common. She reaches down and she grabs the kombucha and you go, someone told me kombucha is good. Is it good? And all of a sudden you've made her an authority too, right? Tell me why you drink kombucha, right? You find something in common. Been in a relationship for 3 months. She seems very jealous. Well, you got to figure out how much it's her jealousy and how much you're triggering her by your behavior, by maybe being avoidant and not telling her where you're going and what you're doing. So if you're calming her down and telling her all the things and making her feel secure and she still feels insecure, then it's on her and you have to comment on that. So here, you were feeling jealous about this. I've tried to help you feel secure by doing X, Y, Z, and you're still not trusting me. I'm wondering if it's a trust issue that you have anyway. Question, how to bring up income and finance with a guy. Well, the way I brought it up, he's listening, he's watching, is like 4 dates into it where he paid for all 4 dates and he grabbed the check. I said, can we have a conversation about money? That's what I said. Because nowadays, the women could sometimes make more money. We just don't know, right? And of course, he being a Latin man said, no, I pay, which was just a courting ritual that guys do. So I brought it up a second time and in another way and said, how can I contribute? And hello, Dr. Adrian, or hello, doctor from Adrian. You're not Dr. Adrian. Hi. And so I figured out ways to contribute by doing a lot of cooking myself. Want to move to the next stage. What do I need to do? Show him that I would like to have a more intimate relationship. I didn't get the first part. Did you see it? How long are they dating?
No.
Wants to move it to the next stage. On Instagram, yeah.
Is it from Verdi? I've had this guy friend for 10 months and I would like to move to the next stage. Okay, that's the one we just looked at.
10 months. 10 months. You're trying to convert somebody who's in the friend zone and that dude has not made a move yet in 10 months. This may not bode well. But I will tell you this, if you've been friends with somebody for 10 months, the next time you get together for a meal, you need to dress very, very hot. You need to flip your hair and giggle. And when you talk to them, you need to touch them when you need to make a point. Those are called female invitations. And when females give those invitations, men respond. If he's not responding, then he wants to be in the friend zone. You got to ask yourself why. Because usually heterosexual men in a heteronormative circle are happy to be in the friend zone as long as they feel like a backup mate and they're waiting for the time to make their move. Like you can cry on their shoulder when the Playboy left, right? Okay. Any more questions? Instagram is slower than Facebook. Oh, is it? Okay. It happens.
Yeah, there's a delay.
Yeah, and Sydney's over on YouTube, so I don't know if that's slower or faster or what. Anybody have any more relationship questions before I go out to have a margarita and some pizza with my best friend?
Somebody asked, how much should you invest in friends without setting yourself up for disappointment?
Yeah, I answered that. So how much should you invest without setting yourself up for disappointment? And you always look for reciprocity, right? Always look for, you do a little bit and see if they respond. And if they don't, you don't do more, right? You have to stop and pull back. This man keeps telling me he needs time to figure out his stuff. Do I hold on? No. You back away and make him turn and chase you once he's figured out his stuff. No. You don't need to sit in a halfway friend zone with a guy. When guys want a relationship, they move on. Listen, ladies, I need to tell you this is very important. The act of finding a good mate is not getting the perfect guy that you think is perfect to fall for you. It's about finding a guy, and there are many of them, who's at his state of readiness, and you being there at the right time for him to reach out to you. It's all about state of readiness. Now, can you do anything to encourage his state of readiness? Nope. So what signals a state of readiness for a guy? Over the age of 28, because 50% of first-time marriages for men happen before 28, the other half after. His education complete, his career solid. He's fully out of his marriage if he's divorced, not like, well, we're undivorced, living in separate houses. You say, call me later when you got the documents, right? Fully divorced. If he needs to have his education and his finances and his past relationships all tied up. And also he should be in a social circle of couples. If he's just hanging out with guys and going to Vegas every weekend, he's not at a state of readiness. So I don't care how gorgeous he is. I don't care how nice he is. He's not at his state of readiness. If you're looking for that, I mean, if you want a short-term relationship, lots of guys would oblige. How do you deal with a woman's religion when you've had bad experiences with that certain religion? Okay. I think you have to work out your own stuff, because even though you might have had a bad experience with that religion, they may have an entirely different experience. Now, you're saying, can you get together if you're in different religions and you don't agree with what they're agreeing? I remember one year some girlfriend was asking me that thing. She was going to marry a guy and she goes, but he doesn't share my religion. And I said, do you need him to confirm your beliefs and your faith? If it's so real and so true, why do you need someone to jump on the bandwagon? She went, oh, I never thought of it that way. Okay. Oh no, Michael, I said my boyfriend is on the East Coast. He's just on a business trip for a couple days. No, we're both on the West Coast. Good question though. Yes, looks fade. We do know, okay, I'm gonna close with just reminding everybody about the stages of love and the neurochemistry that happens. So at the very beginning, very important question, thank you, Brian, I'm gonna put you up here, is you have testosterone, estrogen. When you start having sex, you've got oxytocin, you start to fall in love, norepinephrine. And so the beginning is lust. Then there's romantic love, which is sort of a stage of a big delusion where you think the person is a lot better than they are. And this is normal. That was designed to get you together. And then after a period of time, your brain actually gets used to those neurohormones. And just like any other drug, it wants more and more and more. You want to see the person all the time, but you're not getting the same high you did at the beginning. It's very interesting. However, if you let them go, you go through withdrawal. That's what love is, right? And eventually you get to a place of mature companionate love. And to continue to keep the bond alive, you want to keep your sex life alive by adding novelty. And novelty for humans can simply be move it to a different room, wear different clothing, different time of day, whatever, go on a vacation. But this, and the research shows that long-term healthy couples don't even need to have that much sex. It averages about once a week for healthy couples. Now you can have more if you want, it's not gonna hurt you, but it's not gonna make your relationship any more secure or better. So, Someone asked me, why do men gaslight? Women gaslight too. They do it because they're highly insecure. They may have an anxious attachment style. They want the person to think they're crazy so they won't leave them. Or they could be suffering from a narcissistic personality disorder. How do I feel about a hookup buddy? For myself, I don't need one, but if you want one, you can have one. Here's one of the issues. Women, not all women, but the vast majority of women often fall in love through sex if they're having sex with the same person on a regular basis. And then they wonder why they caught feelings. It's because their bodies emit so much oxytocin, which is the big bonding hormone. One more. I want to close with one thing. He says, what if the woman has a larger family and friends circle? As a divorced man, I have 2 close friends, not much family. You know what? You're doing well with 2 close friends who you can confide in. And I want to remind you that relationships are bridges between tribes. If she's got a big tribe, you are going to be the beneficiary if you marry her. He would love a DP with her. What's a DP? I have a friend for 8 years. He recently told me he would love a DP with her. She seems open to the idea. Is this a good idea? Dom Perignon? I don't think so. Dominatrix something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go. Nice to see you all. It's always my pleasure. I try my best to be here every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Pacific time. Thank you so much. If you're not following me on TikTok yet, you really should. And just a little heads up, not yet. I'm going to wean you slowly. We're going to take all of these live streams to a much smaller, more intimate, more exclusive group on Patreon, probably in the fall. I'll give you lots of notice, but I won't be doing these live streams in this big way. We're going to be doing it in a smaller, intimate way soon. Oh, double penetration. Dom Perignon.
Don't hear you.
That's all I'll say.
Okay.
You know what? Enjoy yourselves. That's all I'll say. Use protection. Okay. That's all I'll say. All right. Love you all. See you later. Bye.